Hey guys, excuse me, it is Damien again. I've got a video. I'm going to do another, respond to another question that I had from one of my viewers. It was actually in regards to teaming up with a food broker. Is it a smart thing? Do I need to do it? How does it work? Contracts, how much do they get? So I'm going to break down the idea of a food broker so you understand who they are, what they do. And then I'll give you my opinion through my own experience as to why I do not use them. I have actually had my products in national chains, and I've actually worked directly with them by simply picking up the phone, asking questions, and then figuring out how do they work with their vendors, and then basically following their guidelines, making it super simple and saving me a lot of money. Okay, so what is a food broker? A food broker is normally made up of a group of salespeople, could be saleswomen as well. Food brokers are the guys and the gals who have, the ladies that actually have a relationship with a retail company, normally with retail buyers. And how it works is, let's say I've got product A and I go to a food broker and they love it. They think it's great. They jump up and down about it. They think that they can get it into multiple chains of retail stores for me. So what they do between you and the food broker is that sorry about that. Okay, so what you do is that the food broker is going to tell you, look, your product is great, your packaging is great, here's what we can do for you. We're going to be the middleman between the corporate buyers, the company buyers for these retail chains, let's just say Costco, okay? So this specific food broker has a relationship with that particular buyer of that product in the product category of the food item that you're selling. Okay, so product A looks great. What they're going to do is they're going to say, look, I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to call and contact this corporate buyer. I've known her for years. She likes locally made products. What they're going to do is roll it out in about 5 or 6 stores. So the broker ends up working between you and Costco as the one that will create the relationship and the brand awareness. They're going to represent your product. Now, obviously, they're going to want to make your product sound as amazing as they can, because what they're going to do is they're going to want to get into as many stores as possible. Now, traditionally, food brokers work off of a commission. They're going to take a portion of the total amount of products that are sold to the retail store. So, how much is the commission? Well, it varies. In a lot of cases, when you work with a food broker, you can sit down with them before they even contact a retail store and say, look, here's my terms as a food producer. And you can literally dictate to them, in many cases, the bulk of the contract, of what's going to be stated in the contract, and how it's going to be laid out, and what you expect from the broker, and then what you want to pay them. Now, that varies, and it always can be worked out per contract. Food brokers get between a 5 to about 8%, some of them maybe around 10. The average is between 5 to 7% for the industry. So for every order that's placed, they're going to get a 5 to 7% commit. Let's just say, for the example, they're going to get 5% of every single contract that's written with them, every order, purchase order for that retailer, they're going to get 5%. Now, what is that 5% to 7%? What does that really mean for what they're going to do for you? The good thing, there are pros and cons to having a food broker work for you and with you. Now, the good thing is they do have a relationship already with a lot of retailers, so it makes getting products in a retailer a lot easier, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do it, because you can. It just means that a lot of times they know them because they've introduced multiple products, or they have lines of products. They know them very well because they've maybe built a relationship over years. So the 5 to 7% is really going to be having them get their foot in the door for you. And then after every subsequent order, every time that retailer places an order for a product, they're going to get 5% of that, okay? Now, is that all they do? Well, a lot of these food brokers, if you're beginning a food product and you don't have the right packaging, maybe you don't have the right labeling, maybe the size of the package needs to be a little different. they can work and show you the resources and bring resources to you to better your product presentation. So there's services that they can offer other than just picking a phone up, selling a product, making money from you, and then moving on. Okay? Now, what I would recommend you do, that if you decide to go with a food broker because maybe you just don't want to pick the phone up, or maybe you're just not familiar with the process, try to vet them as much as possible. Look into the company. How long have they been around? How many salesmen do they have? What lines of products do they have? How many retailers do they deal with? Are their commissions flexible? How much do you have as far as control over what is written in the contract with a food broker? Some food brokers actually present you with a contract and say, look, this is how we do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no gray areas. This is how much we get. This is what we do. And that's fine. Some of them work that way, and some of them can deliver great sales for you. But at the end of the day, I have learned myself that if you just take the initiative, try to contact just even one. Try to contact the company. Let's say Fresh Market or Whole Foods. Pick up the phone, call their corporate headquarters and say, look, my name is such and such. I have a product. How do you go about presenting it? Who do I talk to? Can I talk to one of your buyers? I'm not very familiar with the process. Just be honest with them. I'm not familiar with the process, but I've got a great product and I would love to present that to you. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna put you on hold for 2 seconds. They'll transfer you over to a buyer's either extension or their voicemail. Leave them a message. Explain to them what you do. Explain to them what you're going to sell. You would love to send some samples and some sell sheets, information about how much it costs, the wholesale, the packaging, the bulk pricing, all that stuff. Now, it may sound like a lot, but it's really not. If you're not familiar with the process, many of these buyers, many of these companies love locally made stuff. And a lot of times they're going to have local buyers within a region. When I got into Fresh Markets, I was able to reach the buyer on the first call. From there, I was actually able to get the product within about 2 months, 2 to 3 months I think it was, get it in about 7 or 8 of their stores locally where I am. And then from there, I was able to demonstrate it, do the demos, and we began to sell the product through 7 or 8 stores. A lot of these corporate food companies, the way they're going to work is they're going to give you just a handful of stores to start. If it goes over, great, and then you can fill larger orders. They're going to expand your presence in the company, okay? I've never worked with a food broker because I didn't want to lose my 5 to 7%, because on top of it, when you're starting out, you're going to front these companies this product. As a small business, I talk about cash flow a lot. You're going to be setting up a company with a lot of your product. It's going to tie up a lot of your money, okay? They're not going to pay you right the same day that you drop it off. Normally they have a net 30 and a net 60. So you're not going to get paid for 30 days. So the commission, when you're starting out and you're small, the 5 or 7% adds up. That's basically the bottom line of what I'm doing for this video is that save yourself the commission. Simply pick up the phone, ask questions. Don't be afraid to do this. If you've taken the leap to start a business and you're now making a food product, then you should have enough courage to pick the phone up, call the corporate office and say, look, I've got a product. How do I get it in your stores? Please explain it to me. And they're always going to say, you know what? We have there's on most of these websites, there's a list of what we need from you. Supply us this information, and we'll take a look at your product, and we'll get you in the front door, get you started with a couple stores. That's it. You're going to pay these guys 5 to 7% to do that. You can do that with your eyes closed, okay? Don't be afraid. Once you've got the name and you've got a relationship built up and you've got this, excuse me, I'm trying to fight this cold. Once you've got a relationship and you've established a one-on-one with the buyer, from that point on, as your product sells more, they're going to be your go-to communications with the corporate office, and then they're going to continue to bring you into more and more stores, okay? So save yourself that extra money. Just pick up the phone, make a call. But I also would recommend don't do it to just one company, okay? Because once you get the ball rolling, you've got to fill out all this information about your product and all that good stuff. You want to do that over about 3 or 4 different companies. Because I'm going to tell you, out of 4 companies, you're probably going to get 2 or 1 that are going to actually want to move forward and physically bring your product into the store. Many buyers get When I actually called Whole Foods, I was trying to get a line of candy in Whole Foods. One of the buyers said they get 200 to 300 product samplings a month. That's just in one regional buying office. That's not the company. That's just in one office in one region of the country, and they get hundreds and hundreds of products. So you got to be patient. You got to be persistent, but just basically follow the guidelines, send them the information they ask, and then just move on to another company. You got to kind of spread your seeds out everywhere, if you will. Plant seeds in a lot of different places and see where it grows and see which one goes first, because not every company is going to say, hey, we love it, let's bring it in. If that happens, that's great. Realistically, it's not going to happen. So 4 or 5 companies, call them. You're going to get 1 or 2, and then go from there. Save your 5 or 7% because you need it. Okay, that is the answer I was going to give for that question. So I do hope that makes you a little more wiser and understanding more about food brokers and how they work. I don't want to steer you away from them. If you really don't want to do that on your own, that's fine. Just be aware, contracts, agreements, the length of time that you're going to be in contract with them. What are you expecting from them? Make sure you understand that. Do some research on the company. Find out about them. How many lines of products do they do? How long have they been in business? Very important. Do they have like 1 or 2 salespeople? Do they have a force of 50 or 60 and they've got hundreds of products? That's a big company. And again, commission. Make sure that you understand what they're going to take and how it's taken off the top of every order. Okay? I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about how food brokers work. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos, as always. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I always appreciate honest opinion. If you have any questions, leave me down below. And I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks.